When she cannot pay her home loan, police arrest her and take 40 years of her precious life and leave her to live with an old age. But soon, she crosses her limits to get back her precious life. Everything began a few days ago. A German biotech company called AEON has invented a special medical procedure. This procedure lets people give away some of their lifetime to others who need it. People who need money can sell their age, and it makes them seem older. AEON saves this extra time and gives it to someone else who becomes younger again. Max, a manager at AEON, is in charge of talking to people who might want to give away some of their age. He goes to see a migrant family and talks to an 18-year-old boy. Max tries to persuade the boy to give away 15 years of his life in exchange for 7 lakh euros. The boy's mother doesn't like the idea, but they are a poor family and feel like they have no choice. Even though it makes them sad, they agree to the deal. So everything is set and their agreement is finished. Then, Max began returning to his company. At this point, it is shown how the poor people live in simple huts, while the wealthy people reside in lavish homes. In this world, there's a group called the Atom Group who oppose the company's actions and regularly protest against them. Upon returning to the company, there was a significant meeting. This meeting involved Max and several other managers like him. During this meeting, Max was recognized and honored for his achievements. He was given the award for being the best agent of the year. Here is the head of the company, Sophie, who came up with the idea of time donation and is still actively working on it. Sophie addresses her employees and explains how everyone benefits from the process. Although many within the company knew it was wrong, poverty and helplessness kept them quiet. Sophie talks about giving a longer life to their special workers so they can serve the company longer. She mentions famous scientists and how their contributions could have been greater if they had lived longer. The company has given extra years of life to 15 scientists. However, a nurse from a group called Atom attacks them, causing chaos and trouble for the company. The Atom Group opposes the company's technology and frequently attacks it. Max lives a happy life with his wife in a nice house. He has taken a loan for their house. They hadn't been able to buy this apartment outright, so they got it by taking a loan. Now, they had to pay the remaining amount for the apartment. What Max didn't know was that in the loan agreement, there was a clause that allowed the bank to take away 40 years of their age if they couldn't repay the debt. Max's wife's father is against the company's actions, and they argue about it. Max, however, doesn't speak against his own company, wanting people to understand their hard work. After leaving Elena's father's house and returning home, Max and Elena were in for a shock. Their house was on fire. The fire was a devastating surprise for Max and Elena. They had been hoping to start a family and have children in that apartment. Even though they were optimistic that their insurance would help cover the costs, the insurance company attributes the fire to a candle left unattended by Elena. Consequently, the insurance company declines to provide any compensation. Because Max and Elena still owed money for the loan they took to buy the apartment, they were suddenly faced with the need to gather a significant amount of money, even if Max worked his entire life. He wouldn't be able to pay off the loan because it was a massive 2.5 million euros. They consult a lawyer who explains that they have one remaining option to settle the loan. When Max's wife had taken the loan, she had signed an agreement as collateral. This agreement stated that if they couldn't repay the loan, she would give the bank 40 years of her life. Upon learning this, Max becomes extremely worried. He tries to talk directly to the CEO of AEON, Sophie Thyssen, requesting a loan that he can pay back by working harder at the company. However, this approach doesn't yield any positive results. AEON only offers Max a small promotion, which increases his salary, but doesn't solve his immediate need for a large sum of money. Elena, Max's wife, also can't come up with the money due to her job as a doctor in a community hospital. Because they are ultimately unable to repay the loan, the authorities arrest Elena. She is brought to the AEON facility, where a procedure is performed on her. This procedure involves taking away 38 years from her life, as decided by the authorities. This procedure is seen as a way to settle the debt, and the financial issue is resolved. The situation is made more complex by the fact that Elena consistently maintained that she didn't leave any candles burning in their apartment, making the fire incident appear suspicious. Max returns home with his wife after this ordeal. Both of them are filled with worry. Elena's appearance is now showing signs of aging due to the procedure. One day, while Max was sitting in the park, a girl approached him to sell a substance from her bag. Max didn't buy anything from her, but he remembered her. Unable to bear seeing his wife in her deteriorating condition, Max makes a decision. He plans to locate the person who received his wife's years and retrieve them. He arranges for his wife to stay with her parents, who blame Max for her condition. Max reassures them, saying he will find a solution. He tracks down the girl who had the substance in the park. It turns out that she had used the age transfer process to significantly reduce her age. Max confronts her to learn more about the process. She explains that to give and take age, both parties need euros, and the exchange has to be done in Russia. Max agrees to this and learns who received his wife's age. When he discovers that it is a woman, he takes quick action. Max renders her unconscious and kidnaps her. He then reveals everything to his wife, who supports his plan. Leaving everything behind, Max and his wife make a plan to leave their country. However, as they are about to go, they realize that the girl they kidnapped is Sophie's daughter, the head of the company. They also discover that it wasn't the girl who received Max's wife's life. It was Sophie herself. This revelation comes at the last moment, but Max still considers taking the girl with them because she might be a potential match for their plan to give back the years to his wife. Meanwhile, 2 guards from Sophie's company suspect that the Atom Group might be responsible for the kidnapping, but they realize that the group usually resorts to killing, not kidnapping. They deduce that someone else is behind this and soon figure out that Max, one of their workers, is involved. Given that Max's wife had lost her years to the owner of their company, it starts to make sense to them. Max, his wife, and Sophie's daughter manage to cross the border via the sea, hiding the girl in a box. However, when they reach the port, there's tight security that puts them at risk of getting caught. Max takes precautions and manages the situation well, and they decide to move forward despite the risks. To minimize suspicion, they use a family car, and inside it are Max, his wife, and Sophie's daughter hidden in the box. Although security at the border crossing is wary, Max handles the situation skillfully, allowing them to successfully cross the border. As they were planning to spend the night in an empty hotel, Sophie's daughter expressed a desire to take a bath. Despite the situation, Max showed sympathy and allowed her to use the bathroom. He positioned himself so that she couldn't see him. However, the girl used this opportunity to attack Max. She threw him to the side and fled from the bathroom. Max sustained a head injury but pursued her. The girl ran into the nearby jungle, but her escape was hindered by the presence of water. Terrified of water, she began to sink since she couldn't swim. Max's wife arrived on the scene and managed to rescue her from the water. Together, they returned to the hotel and restrained the girl by tying her hands and feet. Meanwhile, Sophie was mobilizing her team to secure her daughter's release. Her 2 loyal guards, who had been working for her for 3 decades and had also benefited from the aging procedure, were put in charge of the mission. Their loyalty was a result of the increased number of years they had gained through the company's procedure. However, this plan faces a significant obstacle due to the involvement of the rebel faction known as the Atom Group. Lilith, the leader of this group, discovers Max and Elena's secret journey to Lithuania, as their fugitive status had been reported in German news. Lilith is also aware of the fact that Max and Elena have kidnapped Marie Thyssen, Sophie's daughter. As a result, the Atom Group locates Max and Elena and takes them as hostages. Lilith demands that Max arrange a deal with Sophie Thyssen, whom the Atom Group intends to abduct. They set up an ambush to execute this plan. When Sophie and her team emerge from their location, Max steps forward and expresses his desire to talk to Sophie. Sophie approaches cautiously and offers to exchange her daughter's life for a substantial sum of money. Max agrees, proposing they go inside to discuss the matter further. However, Sophie's guards become suspicious and aim their guns at Max, cautioning that it might be a trap. Observing the tense situation, Lilith, the leader of the Atom Group, orders her members to open fire. A shootout ensues between the 2 groups. Amid the chaos, Max manages to escape with his wife and Sophie's daughter. Max's wife starts feeling sympathy for Sophie's daughter and begins to reconsider her stance on ruining her life by transferring her years. She contemplates that the young girl's future shouldn't be sacrificed. However, she quickly realizes that she too is driven by self-interest, just like Sophie. They decided to take Sophie's daughter, as she has the same DNA as her mother, to a doctor for medical processing. As a result, we see Max's wife becoming young once again. Meanwhile, Max has joined the Adam Group to dismantle the company responsible for their predicament. Sophie's daughter, who had received years of life through the procedure, is now aching. She feels deep sadness over this situation. Despite her desire to regain her youth, she only has one potential donor, her mother, Sophie. However, Sophie's selfishness prevents her from giving up her years to her daughter. As part of the Adam Group, Max and his team prepare to launch an attack on the company, aiming to bring it down completely. This is their effort to seek justice and destroy the organization that caused so much suffering. The movie ends here. Thanks for watching. Goodbye and take care.